Now, Harmony has reported record interim free cash flow and the highest ever interim dividend. This as robust demand for safe haven assets and central bank purchases have propelled gold prices to record highs. The gold price has continued to rally since the beginning of the 2025 calendar year, and the miner says they are positioned to continue benefiting from the high gold price. Beyers Nel, CEO for Harmony Gold, has more insights. Thank you so much for your time, Beyers. Now, just as you start off the conversation, paint a picture of the power of the gold price during this period.
Yes, good afternoon, and good afternoon to the listeners. We are blessed with a fantastic gold price. The gold price is really strong, and a lot of market commentators out there are saying that people are bullish about the gold price. But for us, it's important to say that we don't rely on this high gold price. I mean, we work hard to keep the underlying fundamentals of our business sound by making sure that we continue to improve our safety, deliver predictable, consistent production, and make sure that these good capital allocation decisions we made over the last few years to improve the quality of our ounces, continue to add value for our shareholders. So these good gold prices are, for us, on top of the good underlying fundamentals of the business, which we're trying to keep sound.
And of course, on the other side of the coin, we do have costs which do tend to be quite high for miners. Just talk to me about your navigation in terms of those costs, that cost management, so that they remain well within guidance.
Yes, our costs, we reiterated our full year guidance at the midpoint today. So we're quite comfortable that our costs are predictable in nature. They are largely rand-based, particularly the South African costs. So our cost in unit cost terms have gone up 14-15%, and there is a negative 4% on production. And then the rest of the cost is really inflation-related cost increases, which were predominantly labor, which is 55% of our cost basket, which is governed by our 5-year wage agreement that we signed with our unions last year. And then the Eskom costs, which is high, but it is regulated. So a big part of our cost basket is predictable, and we can plan well ahead for our costs going forward.
Yeah. Well, let's actually go into that production as well, down 4%. Of course, that largely expected. What is the runway looking like there in the short to medium term?
Yes, as you say, the downward production was expected. We guided along those lines at the beginning of the year. And just briefly, it was because we mined out a very high-grade part of the ore body at Hidden Valley in the previous year. And we had lower grades there, and then we've got planned lower production from our South African optimized assets. Albeit the 4% downward, on a comparative period, we maintained our production guidance as well today for the full year. So all is going to plan on the production side as well for the year so far.
Well, a record-breaking performance, and I can imagine for a lot of companies that may be a big thing to follow up on. Just looking at, the next reporting period, the next half of the financial year, what does the sustainability of your growth hinge on?
Yes, as I said, our operations do have good momentum, and we reiterated our guidance for the year, both our costs as well as our grade and our production. So we're going into the second half of the financial year, and at the midpoint, we're well positioned to come in within our guidance metrics at the end of the year, which we reiterated today. So good positive momentum at the operations, taken forward into the second half.
Any risks that you are maybe looking at, maybe not closely, because obviously the environment is supportive of the gold price and of your operational performance, but any risks that could maybe put in a spanner in the works in terms of your growth picture?
I wouldn't say necessarily risks, but obviously we focus on our safety first and foremost. I mean, that is our ultimate priority, and that is our number one value in the company, and we make sure that our safety is at the forefront of all that we do. And then post that, it's using these good times in the gold price wisely with discipline, and making sure that we set our ore bodies up to be sustainable and that they continue to deliver value as they have done in the last period.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and for your insights, and really looking forward to the numbers that you produce in the second half of the year. That was Harmony Gold CEO Beyers Nel.